In the turbulent aftermath of the Civil War, Louisiana in 1868 stood as a microcosm of America's unresolved struggle between freedom and oppression. The Union had won the war, but the battle for equality was far from over. In Opelousa, a small town steeped in old plantation order, a new world was trying to be born, one where formerly enslaved black men could vote, learn, and lead. Yet the forces of white supremacy were determined to strangle that future before it could take root. Under Reconstruction, black men were registering to vote in record numbers. They joined the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln and emancipation, believing it would bring civil rights protection and the opportunity for black schools to open. Often taught by northern missionaries and freed men who risked their lives to educate the next generation. For a brief moment, hope flickered in Opelousa, but that hope was threatened by the old hierarchy. Former Confederates, planters, and white Democrats viewed black advancement as an existential threat. The spark that united the massacre came when Emerson Bentley, a white Republican teacher and newspaper editor, published an editorial defending black political rights. His words were simple but dangerous in a town still ruled by racial resentment. Within days, Bentley was seized by a white mob, brutally beaten and driven from town. The attack sent shockwaves through Opelousa. Black residents, aware that the law would not protect them, began organizing self-defense. They prepared to stand their ground. But the white leaders, fearing the uprising and eager to reassert control, responded with organized terror. In late September 1868, white militias made up of planters, Confederate veterans, and secret groups like the Ku Klux Klan launched a campaign of extermination. They moved through the countryside and into town, dragging black men from their homes, shooting them in the field, and lynching them in public. Anyone associated with the Republican Party or even suspected of political involvement was targeted. The slaughter lasted for weeks. By the time it ended, an estimated 200 to 300 black people lay dead. Their bodies filled the roads and the bayous and the ditches around Opelousa. Survivors fled into the swamps and northernward, abandoning everything they had built. The massacre not only destroyed lives, it obliterated the fragile political and social progress of Reconstruction in the region. When the smoke cleared, white rule was firmly reestablished. Black schools were burned or closed. Republican newspapers were silenced. The Republican Party in Opelousa collapsed completely, leaving no structure to represent or defend the black community. The dream of equality that had briefly touched Louisiana was crushed under a ring of terror and silence. Justice never came, and the perpetrators walked free, protected by the system complicit in their crimes. Law enforcement refused to investigate. The local courts dismissed the idea of prosecuting white men for killing black citizens. Instead, white newspapers celebrated the bloodshed, calling it a necessary cleansing to restore order. The Opelousa massacre became one of the deadliest episodes of Reconstruction violence in America, an unpunished atrocity that warned other southern towns what would happen if black people sought true freedom. In its wake, silence reigned. The survivors carried the memory quietly, knowing that to speak of it could mean death. The massacre achieved its intended purpose. It silenced a town and shattered a movement. The lesson echoed through generations that the fight for freedom does not end with emancipation, and that silence can be as deadly as bullets when injustice rules the day.